Let me ask you something uncomfortable. Have you noticed how men are slowly disappearing? This is masculine compass, where we say what others are too afraid to. Men are in crisis across nearly every category. But most are suffering in silence. Fewer men are in college today, and fewer are even applying in the first place. Jobs are being lost, careers are stalling, and ambition feels like a thing of the past. Many men are still living at home, not out of comfort, but out of quiet defeat. Fewer men are dating, fewer are building families, and intimacy is becoming rare and distant. Mental health is collapsing under the radar. More men are checking out completely. And here's the darkest part. More men are taking their own lives than ever. It's deeper than stats, deeper than headlines. This is personal and it's urgent. So today, let's break the silence and explore 3 hidden forces behind this fall. If you're a man watching this might be the most important thing you hear today. If you feel like you are falling behind, or know a man silently struggling, chances are it's not laziness or weakness. It's something much deeper than that. The first silent battle men face is meaning, and the quiet erosion of purpose. In today's world, meaning is harder to grasp, because we stripped away how men used to find it. For centuries, men built, protected, and provided. Now those roles are unclear or undervalued. Every strong man I've met had one thread in common. They were great at something that mattered. It's not about fame or perfection. It's about contribution beyond the self. Meaning is found where skill meets sacrifice, where a man gives what he's mastered. That intersection of mastery and mission is the formula most men are missing. If this resonates, share this with a brother. Someone who might just need this today. Meaning doesn't only come from money or status. Sometimes it's found in creating something honest. It could be a song, a chair, a conversation, or just solving problems no one else could. Men thrive when they master a craft and offer that mastery to something greater. But something toxic is growing in today's culture, and it is slowly choking that drive. Men are told they are dangerous, problematic, and that their presence does more harm than good. They hear, "Be quiet, step back, shrink down," as if existing boldly is somehow wrong. So instead of building and leading, many retreat, unsure if their gifts are welcome. This isn't weakness, it's confusion imposed by noise. And that confusion keeps men stuck. If you've ever felt like your ambition is unwanted, you're not alone, and you're not broken. A growing number of men are checking out silently, but not out of laziness, out of exhaustion. They've been trained to stop reaching and rewarded for staying small. From early childhood, boys are placed into systems designed to tame their energy and instincts. 8 hours behind a desk feels like punishment. For boys meant to explore, test, and build. Their development is slower, but the expectations rise faster, creating frustration before manhood even begins. This mismatch isn't a theory, it's in the data. But we keep pretending it's a boy problem. And what happens when the system pushes you out before you even know what you're capable of? This is how we raise uncertain men who doubt their place in a world they never built. It is not just schools or rule. It's an entire culture whispering, "You are the problem." When you're told your effort won't be valued, why would you still climb that mountain? Many men have stopped pursuing difficult things, Not because they are weak, but unheard. The path to meaning requires risk and pain, and fewer men believe it's worth it anymore. You must fail, fall, and keep going. But modern men rarely get that permission. They hear, your risk is reckless. Your ambition is dangerous. Your masculinity is flawed. So they retreat inward, choosing safe over strong, until purpose feels too far to reach. And this is the real tragedy. Not that men can't lead, but that they stop trying. The second silent struggle is identity fracturing, or what I call archetypal confusion. Boys today don't lack potential. They lack a direction to point it toward. Culture no longer tells men who they can become, only who they must avoid becoming. There is no image of greatness to pursue, only traits to be ashamed of. What happens when there are no heroes left? Men stop trying to become one themselves. A man's identity is forged through fire, not from comfort, but from chosen suffering. Hardship doesn't destroy him. It carves him into something worth becoming. But with no noble mountain to climb, men wander aimlessly, full of potential and pain. We are not failing because we are too soft. We are failing because we were never aimed. Men are being handed rulebooks filled with don'ts, but never a clear path of who to become. Don't sit like this. Don't speak like that. Don't take up space. Don't lead. That constant pressure doesn't shape character. It dissolves it piece by piece. And what's left behind is not a man, but a question with no answer. When your entire identity is built on shame, even confidence feels like rebellion. And slowly, that shame hardens into silence. And that silence becomes a way of life. Because without a role, model, or a vision, most men never find their direction. We all need someone to aspire to, or something within us begins to rot. Because aspiration is not ego, it's survival of the spirit. Without something to move toward, men drift into disliking who they are. They start to feel unnecessary, like culture no longer has space for them. Identity isn't built in safety. It's built through pain, effort, and setbacks. But what if you are told at every stage, don't be like him or him or him? That list of who not to be becomes a prison without walls. And slowly, a man begins to believe, maybe nothing about me is worth becoming. This is how lostness takes root, when shame replaces aspiration in a man's heart. Some of the traits we shame in men are the very traits they need to survive. Assertiveness is not aggression. It's a foundation for confidence and direction. But if the world tells you to always be soft, you'll never develop any form of spine. And without a spine, the world will chew you up and spit you out. A man who cannot stand up for himself will struggle endlessly in silence. We are mass-producing fragile men while pretending to celebrate emotional maturity. Because backbone isn't toxic. It's the bone that keeps identity standing. We are raising men with no spine, then blaming them for being weak. Risk used to build men. Now it breaks them because their identity is hollow. He doesn't avoid hardship because he's soft. He avoids it because he's afraid it will shatter him. If failure destroys your last piece of self-worth, then you never take the shot. The loss of identity is real, but the loss of archetype is deeper. There is no vision of the warrior, the king, only warnings of what not to become. Men need a mountain to climb, not another list of sins to avoid. We used to encourage men to become something noble. Now we just warn them to stay out of the way. In today's culture, having male role models is almost taboo. Without examples to grow into, men are left with chaos and confusion. And when you remove aspiration, some men will reach for control instead. It's not always about power. Sometimes it's a desperate cry for direction. But the real tragedy is this. We have dismantled men's communities and tribes. Boys used to be mentored by men. Now they scroll endlessly, looking for answers. Without male spaces, without guidance, the transmission of strength breaks completely. You cannot become what you have never seen. And most boys today see nothing to become. A man is not just born. He is forged through guidance and fire. But we have erased that journey. No more maps, no more mentors. Boys now grow up guessing what manhood looks like. And often, they guess wrong. The wisdom of our fathers has been buried under noise and shame. Today, most teachers are women. But boys need male guidance too. And without men education, boys grow up unbalanced and unseen. Even in therapy spaces, men barely see their own reflection. Even therapy has become a landmine for men, a place they feel like the problem, not the patient. 75% of therapists are women, and masculine healing has no room left. We tell men to speak up, but silence them when they finally do. We erase the spaces where boys once became men, and now we wonder why they are lost. Boy Scouts used to teach resilience, teamwork, brotherhood. Today, that sounds controversial. One of my most powerful childhood memories was struggling beside boys with no girls watching. There's something sacred about boys learning to handle conflict without fear of being judged by outsiders. A man who avoids other men often fears what other men reveal in him. Men sharpen each other in tension and truth, not in comfort and avoidance. If you always avoid male company, you will likely avoid male confrontation too. And in life, confrontation is unavoidable, especially as a man who must lead and protect. Men who can't hold their space often get ignored, disrespected, or dominated. And when you finally need to stand up, you may find yourself frozen, unsure, defeated. That's why boys need brotherhood, to learn how to disagree without disrespect. Most men were never taught how to confront a friend, so now they just walk away silently. Conflict is not the enemy. Emotional silence is. In male friendships, healing comes fast when truth is spoken, but few know how to speak it anymore. Saying, "I didn't like that," takes more strength than pretending nothing happened. We stopped teaching young men emotional courage, and now many live emotionally paralyzed. Men used to call each other out directly, not ghost each other in silence. Today, 15% of men have no close friend, and many do not even notice the loneliness. A man without brotherhood often suffers in silence, until the silence becomes unbearable. Many men today only have one close friend, and that's becoming their normal. One guy in your life is not enough, especially when you're suffering silently. Research says men need 2 hangouts per week, but most men haven't met a friend in months. Social time is not a luxury for men. It is vital for their mental survival. Yet many mock men for wanting connection, as if loneliness is masculine strength. Men are retreating into gaming, isolation, and screens to escape emotional starvation. Masculine strength is not silence. It's the courage to reach out and reconnect. Tell me, when was the last time you met your boys? The men who will thrive tomorrow are the ones building strong male friendships today. A solid brotherhood takes real effort and the courage to have tough conversations. This collapse in male communities is deadly silent, but it is devouring generations fast. If you are raising a young man, expose him to male energy and bonding early. Put him in jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, or football. Let him feel strength, teamwork, and tension. These spaces shape boys into men, not by lectures, but by raw experience. In those rooms, he will meet soft boys, silent boys, broken boys, and rising men. He will witness shame, growth, struggle, and learn how to rise beyond it all. Many boys today grow up without male role models, leaving a dangerous gap in their development. In team sports or training, they meet every kind of man: the broken, the arrogant, and the wise. These contrasts shape how a boy understands manhood and what kind he wants to become. In these spaces, coaches, mentors, and older men subtly pass on wisdom that changes lives. Even your friends helping raise your son can become part of his masculine foundation. Bars, sports, the military, or boys' clubs. They were more than hobbies, they built men. When male community collapses, so does the foundation of many boys. When spaces for male growth disappear, boys are left without a clear path to manhood. Culture says men are the problem, and many have started to believe it. The more men hear that message, the faster they check out of life. It happens in families too. The person constantly blamed often walks away. If you are always told you are the issue, you eventually stop showing up. This is the silent plague Western men are facing. And unless we change the story, generations of men will keep vanishing in silence. We used to say men need help. Now we say men are the problem. This mindset shift has damaged an entire generation of men. It is time for culture to support men again, not shame them for struggling. We do not heal by casting blame. We heal by honoring what is broken. Brother, your pain does not make you weak. It makes you human and real. You were never meant to walk this path alone, and you don't have to anymore. The world may have failed you, but you still have the power to rise. This is your moment to rebuild, to stand, and to lead. Your breakthrough is not just for you. It will bless generations to come. Subscribe to Masculine Compass. Join a brotherhood that believes in you.